Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Yiddish mas imi merosi ruspas Mordechai. Dear Rabbi Seltzer, I want to thank you for your daily inspiration and all you do for Klal Yisrael. Please tell the person giving the shir that he's also really good. Usually, I've been with the shir since Megillah. I hope to gain my ticket on the fishing boat or at least the canoe. In all seriousness, I'm broke now, so I can't sponsor a shir, but I'd like to thank Rab Eli and the whole MDY Chevra. Should all daven for each other for a great year, for the geula shleima b'mehera. The koyach of at least 25,000 tefillas is mighty powerful. Kol Tov, the other anonymous from Lakewood. What do we have over here? I recently came across your interview with Menachem Toker and Kol Chai Radio before Shavuos, and as a result, I listened to one of your shiurim. I really enjoyed it, especially the combination of high-level yeshiva learning with clarity and geschmack in the learning. I studied in yeshiva for years, and Baruch Hashem continued learning even afterward, and had the privilege of finishing a few mesechtas. Over the years, I've tried to use the dead time, like while driving to work, to listen to shiurim. Found it challenging to find engaging Gemara shiurim, so I often listen to Shiur Mamachshava. Since discovering Daf Yomi, I listen to them every day. As you always say, there's always time to find the day. Thank you very much for your daily dedication, Rab Eli, and your entire team. V'bracha shana toiva mesuka l'shana toiva tikosevu sechoseimu l'al d'chaim toivim Natan Ermin. This shir has changed my husband's life. Now it's his 40th birthday, and I must tell you how much he appreciates it. I wouldn't have thought a few years ago that I would be writing this email to a complete stranger on behalf of my husband. My husband, Shulim Berkovich, joined this MDY family a few years ago. Growing up, my husband didn't have it easy in classroom, and learning didn't come easily for him. When you're constantly told you can't do something, you begin to believe it. Although my husband was very ehrlich and always tried to learn, it wasn't until he discovered this year that he changed so much. I know Shulim very well. He actually drove us around in London. His whole day is around this shir, and it became more than just a shir. He has met so many different people from all over the world who are part of this family too. He prints out daf Torah. Shulim doesn't go to bed until he has caught up with the daf, no matter what. Sometimes I get annoyed and tell him it's too late, but he always says a day without Torah is not a day. When we went to Eretz Yisrael 2 years ago, Shulim was so excited to go to the live shir in person. He has since met you in person a few times. This week, Thursday, Shulim is turning 40 years old. It's a big milestone for him, and I know it means so much to him to get a mazel tov from you. Mazel tov email. I'm doing better, no? This is better than a mazel tov email. Shulim, mazel tov, Shulim. May we only share good things. May this year bring only good for Klal Yisrael, with Mashiach and all of us coming home to our Holy Land with the Beis Hamikdash once more. Good Ga'bן Shiur. Mrs. Berkovich. I received 3 emails from 3 wives yesterday, so maybe tomorrow we'll do the other ones. I thought this is gewaldig. Neflois haboire. Look at this. Rab Eli attaches a video of my hike in the mountains of Norway. It's another one that we got to check out. Someone should make an app. I love this. Someone should make an app where we can see and check off spots in the world where MDY Chevra have been and learned the daf. Thanks for everything you do. I think that's a great idea. Check it off. Was here. Where are the crazy? We just had a few crazy ones. Thanks for everything you do. Can't wait for the coming Shabbaton. That's if you are... Oh yeah. Just want to make sure that as we were told, is still correct. That whoever was at the last Shabbaton will get the first opportunity to sign up. Is that right? Yes. At the end of last year's Shabbaton, because a lot of people had a hard time coming. Because of the war... It wasn't even that it was hard. They felt that it wasn't the right thing to do. And the Shabbaton was going to be a big bust, and we were going to be out a lot of money. We asked the Rabbanim, and we got Reb Asher Weiss. Remember, Reb Asher Weiss said it's a chizuk, it was taka, a tremendous ruchnis aliyah. So I announced, I said, you know what? Because you guys came and you were mishtatif, I will give you the first chance next year. And Be'ez Hashem, it's going to be a quick sellout, because I see the amount of people that are contacting, their mamish chal. You told me yesterday you want to come from Antwerp, right? If there's tickets available, if there's rooms available. Yesterday, 2 people bought executive suites. The kids is going, and also somebody gave another donation. We're getting there. Your Talmud since Brachas Amud Aleph. Brachas Amud Aleph. Now I'm on the boat. Then do I cruise? Joke. I know there's no Brachas Daf Amud Aleph. Your Talmud since Ksubas Daf Chav Beis. Here's the video. Rabbi, check this out. The Fleisa Boira.
Hello from Norway. Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
That's gewaldig. Beautiful stuff. Huh? Look at those legs, the mountains. Rabbi said, listen to this. There's another one. It doesn't stop. No need to read online. Please thank Molandi. I finished Meseches Eruvin last night. What he's saying is because of Molandi, he's on a flight and he finished Meseches Eruvin. And how amazing, I finished it on my flight. I probably did 25 of the blot while flying over the past couple of months. With regard to over the few months, he took a Masechta, he said, I'm going to finish this Masechta. With regard to the 3-day Yom Tovim, my idea is to go back on an anniversary with your Rebbetzin, or vacation with the Olam, and the Shiur will be 30 minutes long. Gewaldige Eitzah. I should take my wife on a vacation, Erev Rosh Hashanah, and therefore the Shiur will be. No, that's because the Dapim Cheskes are tiny. What's the Shaykhs? Catching up for the cruise. Rabbi said, check this out. Join MDY license plate, but this guy was creative because Join MDY is already taken. Joyn MDY. Do we have time for this longer one? Let's do it. Shalom today. I want to thank you for providing me with this amazing opportunity to learn Torah. Bikvios. When I was in Ga'bn Yeshiva, it was drilled into us that we had to learn Be'iyun and avoided Daf Yomi while at the same time pursuing a career tour guide, which didn't exactly lend itself to regular chavrusa learning. Instead of learning in depth on a regular basis, I ended up learning nothing on an all-time basis. Instead of learning in depth on a regular basis, I ended up learning nothing on an all-time basis. You know how many people do that? 90%. Apart from a little bit of nach and shnai mikra and enough Torah to stay a good tour guide. I recently got to learning the daf and chance upon your website and program. It's been truly rewarding and nourishing experience. There's quite a few things I've gained from my work. Two, and I would like to share one with you. I was delighted to see your Daf Yomi broadcast from Poland. It gave me chizik for a professional debate that I've been having with the colleague, as well as a tour guide. I'm a Jewish studies teacher in high school, with kids without a strong background in Yiddishkeit from the States. We occasionally have a great zechus to take our students to Poland, and in fact, to Yeshivas Chacham in Lublin. I was having a debate with a co-teacher, and I wasn't sure that I was correct until I saw your shiur from the Beis Medrash in Lublin. My colleague said that we should just tell our students the story of the yeshiva, include the birth of Daf Yomi, and then teach a feel-good, easy sugya like Tanur Shalach Noi or something from Perek Chelik, that kind of thing. His point was that Daf Yomi is a mixed bag. It's sometimes too dry. It's hard to prepare. I think he illustrated perfectly what I argued. All sugyas he mentioned are beautiful sugyas, but need not be taught here. Here, we can learn that Limud Torah and indeed Yiddishkeit is not just for sometimes event, it's forever and for every day. It teaches us hasmada and that Torah is just fun stories. But about every aspect in our life, and I can think of no better example than your shiurim to show how even the most mundane and technical sugyas can be brought to life, illustrated, made dynamic and relevant. Be'ez Hashem, we should see the rise. So, I want to argue in this guy. I agree with your colleague that if you're bringing these students, I personally would give them a feel-good geshmaka daf. It's true that in a regular daf, even the mundane, so to speak, dafim, but why go there? If you're in Daf Yomi, you're forced to learn those dafim, so you work hard. But otherwise, I don't know. I kind of agree with your colleague. Sorry, I love your long email, but I have to agree with him. If you're on a pace and there's no other choice, and you have to learn that daf, so every daf is gishmak. You can make it gishmak, and it takes a lot of. By the way, it's kind of hard, and you probably notice that some of the stories don't have that much connection to the daf. And they might also notice. Thank you so much. Who's this from? I don't even remember. So here's the list so far who we have. We have Anonymous. I don't know what Anonymous is. Silver. We have another competing law firm, Avi. In the silver category, it's Michael Ben Chetrit, just sent in $10,000 yesterday. So Yishkoyach Michael Ben Chetrit from Florida. In the bronze, we have Fence Pros and Lili Nishmas Ar Mendel Ben Tamar Ilan David Dovidchi. and J Furniture, Jey Furniture, Peretz, Chessel, another Floridian. So those are the two of them together. They're together. And I don't even know how to, I have to get this moving and trucking thing big, larger. I don't know what it is. And A and B and those guys on the side, Yom and Leibowitz, and wine and grape juice, Refuah shleima. All right, Rabbi Isai, after all that, there's no time for the Lashon Hara section. We'll have to push it off to something else. Yes, I'm sorry. The Masechta Stefansky for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Thank you, Yosef Biliak, for inserting it. At least reminding me I have to do it. Eli Stefansky, Moshe Tzvi and Abba Rennert, all of us gave, I think, $1,800 each lezchut for the Refuah shleima and safe and speedy return of our Chayalim. Plus, we have a matching sponsor, Rab Eli's donation, lezchut the Chayalim for the month. Parnas Shavua, this is the last day. Chanan Averbuch, in honor of Rabbi Dovid Schoen of Miami and successful partnerships with Yitzy Shapira. Parnas Shavua, for zechus, for complete Refuah, Brach Avigail Bas Rochel Gitta, a fellow MDY member's wife, Refuah shleima. Parnas Yomi, Brian and Sharon Leyton, in honor of the yahrzeit of Pesha Esther Bas Lazar. What's going on? That's Levi. Okay, I don't know what's happened. Parnas Yomi, Moshe Banda, in honor of that, Rab Eli should start giving a shir in Yiddish. Shouldn't have to wait for something to happen to start that good project. L'schis Rab Eli, zu geben a shir in Yiddish, man soll nicht darfen warten, bis etwas geschehen, gedei zu anzuheben die Projekt. On and why, in memory of my mother, Chana Bat Miriam, by Arnov, and the Parnas HaChodesh for the art of the month. For zechus, for Rab Eli, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. There's a few examples today. We added, since a few months ago, we added a full-time editor for the Hebrew. And in today's shir alone, there's a bunch of additions that he himself made after the Hebrew shir at night, after Yoshi already left office. I'll show you as we go through. So it's actually a gain for us as well that he's working. We're looking for a second one. Anybody that knows Hebrew and English that could help the editors take on, because one Hebrew editor is certainly not enough. You can't work. We can't expect them to do 7 days a week. So if anybody knows someone who wants to make a little extra money on the side, it's like a 4-hour job, I would say, 3-4 hour job, let us know. So, Rabbi Isai, we're holding in this beautiful sugya. Here's the shaila right over here. What wins? If you're inside the reshus of the moicher, you're inside his house, and let's say you have a suitcase, and he fills the suitcase up in his. The buyer has a suitcase in the seller's house. The seller fills up the suitcase with merchandise. Does the buyer acquire that merchandise or not? That's the question here. Do we do this? Is the moicher? Does the moicher beat out the reshus lekeach or not? The kli of the lekeach. Does the house of the moicher, the reshus of the moicher, beat the kli of the purchaser? Omar Rav Toshma, 3 lines from the bottom of Pehei Amud Beis. Toshma moshach chamorov upoyalov v'ichnison l'tech beisai. A person pulled and yanked on the donkey driver, who has merchandise on his back, and he pulled them into his own house. Think about it for a second without looking at the Gemara. A human being is holding on to something. Here, I'm holding on to this cup of water. You pull me into your house. You did a mashicha. Usually you acquire things through mashicha. Does this cup of water become yours? Huh? Anybody? No. Why not? Because I'm a human being and I have my own kinyanim and zchusim. And for you to acquire this, you have to do mashicha directly to this. You can't pull me in. Here we have a little video for today. Rabbi Isai, enjoy. We have actually, today is the first day that we have 2 productions. Here we go. Avi, I need you to laugh for this. Hold on a second. Check this out. This is the sugya of Moshach Chamarov. The guy, the heavier guy with the wheat on his back, that's a Chamar. Chamarov. He's a donkey driver, and you pull him into your reshus. What's the halacha? 2 lines from the bottom. Bein pasak actually modad. whether they decided on the price per pound or whatever, it doesn't work. So let's stop over here. Case number 1. Pasak actually madad. They already determined the price. Why doesn't it work? I just explained why. Because a human being is holding on to the wheat. So if you did a mashiach on a human being that's holding on to something else, it does not work. Case number 2. Ubei madad actually pasak. I'm going to go back to this case for a second later on, so just remember this case, the last line on Amud Beis. Bein madad actually pasak. Whether you determined how much produce is there, but you didn't decide the amount of money. Shneim yicholim Lazar. In this case, it's completely different. You didn't determine the money. You didn't determine money, so the Gemara is going to explain later on that the problem is there's no Gemiras Das. Imagine you go into a store, Maisa Shahaya, you go into an esrog store, and you like the esrog. Says the guy behind the counter, nobody answered this, only Noam. I want to hear what Noam has to say. The guy behind the counter says, the boss isn't here. Noam stepped out, he's coming back soon. Take the esrog. I know my boss, he said, don't worry about it, just take it. You'll figure out the price with him later on the phone. Okay? He takes the esrog home. He forgot to call Noam. And he makes a bracha on it the first day of Yontif. Then he says, so he calls up Noam. Noam, how much you want for the esrog? He says, Noam, $500. $500. Over here in the Gemara it says, if you don't make up a price, you didn't make up a price, there's no Gemiras Das. There's no Gemiras Das. There's no Kinyan. So I'm asking you, Shaila, was the guy yahrzeit with the esrog or not yahrzeit with the esrog? It's a true Shaila. I'm sure it happens all the time. No, the guy, you're right, he didn't pay, but the guy in the store said, take it. You'll worry about it later. Who says? You're not coining with Kesef, you're coining with Mashiach. We're not coining with Kesef today. We're coining with Mashiach. He made a Mashiach. The guy in the store said, don't worry about the money later.
What if he's an employee? He doesn't have the right to give it to him.
Why? Time out. Let's talk tachlis. You obviously authorize your employees, and certainly your own son, who's going to work for you this year, you give him reshus to make up deals like that? Okay. But he didn't pay for it. And later on he found out it was a crazy, crazy price. No, the guy was yahrzeit, not yahrzeit.
Again, the way I would do it is yahrzeit.
You want the extra money, but the guy never thought for a second it's going to be 500. He thought it's 100. You just give it to him. No, forget you. Halachically speaking, when you're going to demand $500, he took the nicest esrog in the store, he didn't realize, and later on it cost him 500. So they say it's possible that by esrog it's a little different because there's a concept of not arguing on the price. A lot of people, the Zohar says, Arizal, it's a great business. You're not supposed to.
I have both.
Well, when the guy comes in with the longer board payas, you say any price you want because he can't argue. He's going to be Mekayim the Zohar. You see a guy with a little tiny yarmulke, you say the same esrog. Instead of $1,000, $20. I know how it works. Okay. But not by Noam fixed. Fixed esrogim is different. So, but you hear the idea. The Gemara says Mefurish here, actually pasak, there's no Gemiras Das. In regular things, forget about esrogim. They say esrogim might be different.
In the first case, also, not that because it's a guy and you have your own das, it's lacking on enough. The way to make a kinyan is through
Mashiach.
Yeah, a Mashiach, and then on enough in my rishon. It has to be in my rishon.
Why? Just a Mashiach. Agba. I made Agba. That's kind of.
You're just holding it. When you came into my rishon, what's lacking is that it's not on enough.
I don't know that you need it. Why? Because you didn't make up a price yet? Oh, over here.
In the first case.
No, what's lacking over here is that there's no Gemiras Das. That's what's lacking. No Gemiras Das. Gemiras Das means I didn't settle my mind that I want to buy it. The first case is the problem is that that's still on a human being. That's the problem. It's still on a human being. Forget the anacha.
Therefore what?
Therefore the human being, he prevents a sale. Human being prevents a sale. Prevents a kinyan. You cannot be kind to me. If you lift up Eli Stefansky and I'm holding a esrog, the esrog doesn't become yours. I'm kind of the esrog. I'm a human being. I override your hagbah. That's the nakuda. The nakuda is the human being. I just want to tell you a quick story from the Vilna Garden. that the Vilna Gaon asked his brother to learn Chavrusa with him. His brother thought it over and he said he can't because back in the day they lived in a different village and him and his wife decided to sell their house in order to buy an esrog. The difference between they sold their house and bought a smaller house, and the difference they bought an esrog. So every time his wife passes by this house, she gets a special hana. Hana, wow! I was mekayim the mitzvah through the. They say it about the guy, I think. And at the end of the day, yes, I looked it up. Rabbi Avram, and the guy heard this, and he said, "Okay, you're right. I'm not gonna. You don't have to learn with me. I think it's a good cheshbon to stay in that city." And then I thought about this Maisa Shahaya, which I never really made a big deal about it, and I think it's a tremendous deal for me. A Maisa Shahaya that we were learning Masechtas Erev in Chicago. I was giving Shiur in Chicago, and I had to do Erev Yantiv, because of the 2-day Yantiv. I had to give 2 Shiurim in Erevin on Erev Yantiv in Chicago, and I didn't buy a esrog yet. So I said, okay, after the Shiur is over, I'm going to buy a esrog. Every day I pushed it off. I had to prepare, the whole thing. Finally, okay, I'm done with the Shiurim. I have time. I come out of, there's a Rabbi Tursky shul, I come out of the shul, I say, okay, there's a garage that they're selling esrogim. There's a big sign. So I go into the garage, there's a woman selling esrogim, and she said, sorry, we're all out of esrogim. We don't have a single esrog left. Chicago, it's already like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, everything's closed down. She says, but we have lulavim and adasim. So I'm thinking to myself, 3 out of 4 is not bad. So I said, okay, no, seriously, a lot of times I had extra esrog in my house. I got a little this one. So maybe if somebody will have extra, let me just get the lulav and esrog. Let me lulav and adasim. So I started looking through the lulav, not bad, good lulav. So I found a good lulav, good adasim, aravas, and I go and I pay her. And I leave. All of a sudden she screams to me. As I leave, she says, wait, somebody just came. Go back in there. A guy just came back and dropped off an esrog. He said he has too many esrogim. He bought too many, he's returning one. So I take a look at the esrog. This is I'm not exaggerating. A Maisa Shahaya, the nicest, cleanest esrog I ever had in my life. A zero bletlach, zero anything, just a perfect $40. So why he returned that one, I don't know. A Maisa Shahaya was an ace. Hashgacha brought this. So I said, okay, I'm doing it for the Shiur and giving 2 Shiur. I figured I'll tell the Eilim this.
I thought you were going to tell me that you sold the house.
What? No. That's from a different generation. I don't think there's a single person in this generation that sold a house.
You didn't move to Texas?
I didn't sell a house.
Sold the house.
It took me 5 years
You
later.
did it,
yeah.
That's amazing.
Zok the Gemara. Okay. Later. Shnei v'choyin Lazar. Shnei v'choyin Lazar. Zok the Gemara. Pei Vav. On the top. Pirkim v'chnisan tech beisai. That heavy guy that has the wheat on his back. If he unloads his sack of wheat, we're understanding now it's a sack of wheat, not wheat, the sack of wheat. V'chnisan tech beisai. Oh, Rabbi, I got to tell you this. This is a good one. This is chizuk. This is unbelievable. It's a mashal from the Dubin Magid. The Dubin Magid says, there's a knock on the door. Guy opens up the door. He sees a guy sweating away. And he says, I'm here to deliver your package. He looks at him, he says, no, it's not my package. He says, you don't even know what's in the package. How do you know it's not your package? He says, I know. I am waiting for a package of diamonds. And if you're sweating like this, obviously you're not carrying diamonds, you're carrying something heavy. There's a mix-up in the packages. Says the Dubna Magid, unbelievable. When you go to shul and you feel, I'm just thinking in something that's relevant to us. When you go to shul and you feel like, wow, this is a long davening. I can't wait until this is over. Or when you open up a Gemara and it's like difficult to learn, what am I doing here? Then you have the wrong package. You're not doing it the right way. Tefillah is supposed to be geschmack. You're supposed to want to be there. You want to stay there. Oh, Rosh Hashanah, I can't believe it's 7 hours. You want to be there. And if you don't want to be there and you don't want to open up a Gemara, you have the wrong package. You need to look for the right package. There's different packages, and you took the wrong one. It's a beautiful zach. So Pirkon Bichnisan Tech Beisai, he unloaded the package into his house. Posak actually modad, if he They determine the price before measuring, because over here the measurement is what? It's not to determine if there's a sale or not. The sale is going to happen. Here, this pile of wheat I want to sell to you. How much do you owe me? How many pounds this is? What's the weight or whatever it is? That we'll figure out later. But I want this. So because we already determined the price, how much it is. We already know how much it is per pound. How many pounds? It's a different story. So neither of you could take it back. Mother actually pasak. But if you didn't determine the price, you just know the amount. You need to determine the price, because later on the guy's gonna say, "Oh, it's $100 a pound." $100 a pound. I'm not asking. Now read this with me and tell me how you read it, because this is a difficult line just to read. I know I struggled the first time I read this. It says like this. Read it with me. It's the way you can read it both ways. K-love or K-love. I also like K-love, but it says over Kilyoy. With the K-love, I think it's more meduyik in the lashon. By the way, there's yeah, but a few Gemara say Kilyoy. You'll see the Kilyoy. It's only one. It's not K-love. Or the K-love, the moicher b'shus lekeach loikana. What does that mean? Read it with me. The kli of the seller doesn't acquire it. B'shus lekeach. With the kli, the moicher b'shus lekeach loikana. Who's not kaina with the kli of the lekeach? The what? The seller. No. Again, the seller's kli in the rishus of the buyer loikana. Who is not buyer? The moicher is not buying. The moicher is selling. Huh? The seller, the buyer is buying, not a seller. Don't read. I didn't ask you to read the taich. I asked you to read with me. The kli of a seller in the rishus of the buyer doesn't buy. Who doesn't buy? The buyer, l'chayr. But the pshat is, like Reb Nachman said, the kli is not ma'akiv. That's what it means over here. The kli is, when we have a fight between the property of the seller and the vessel of the buyer, who's going to win? The property of the buyer is going to win, and he's not going to allow the seller to use the kli. The kli of the leikeach, b'shus moicher loikana, the kli can't do the job. It stops it. So if you have to look at it like this, you go back to. It's a very funny lashon. Very. Here you have a seesaw. The kli, what's stronger? The kli, the box of the buyer, or the house of the seller? And the answer is, you see from here, that a house, the rishus is stronger.
No, that's the wrong one. It's the other one. No, it's the rishus of the koneh.
Hold on. Let's see. No.
Yes. This is the second side. Yes, correct. The rishus of the koneh.
The moicher, the rishus, is going to beat the kli.
Correct.
Yes.
The kli of the moicher. Look what you have up.
What do I have up? No, hold on. Kli of lekeach. The Gemara is saying kli of lekeach. Look. Read the words. Oh no! With the Kelly the Moicher, he's right. I skipped to the other thing. He's right. I'm reading the next words. The kli of the Moicher. This is the one. Yeah, he's right. The kli of the Moicher. If you have a suitcase of the Moicher, a sack of the Moicher, in the rishus of the lekeach, in the house of the lekeach, loikana. We're trying to get to the second case, the one afterwards. In this case, what wins? The rishus wins. So what we see is rishus wins. That's all we're looking for. The property beats a vessel. How do you see it? Because if the vessel of the seller is in the house of the buyer, who wins? The buyer gets it. It's inside a suitcase of the seller. We ignore the suitcase. We ignore it clean. We look at the entire property. You're in this guy's house. So a house wins. So let's take that logic to the next case. This is the case that we're looking for. Here we go. I'm sorry. So now also, this is our question. The kalim of the buyer, nami. So now once again, when you have a vessel up against the house, what's going to win? The house. So you ask me a question. If I bring in my suitcase into the seller's house and he fills up my suitcase with toys, are you kind of the toys just because they're in your suitcase without you doing hagbah? The answer is no. A house wins. A house beats out the kli. No, you see that first word on the Amud? It says pirkon. Don't bring me a raya from the story. What happened? You have a guy pulling in a guy that's holding wheat on his back. I don't want to show you the video again. You guys didn't enjoy it so much. He's pulling him in. He has wheat on his back. And the Gemara says, pirkon. He unloaded it. Says Reb Yitzchak, you know what unloading means? Unloading means he spilled it on the floor. He emptied it out on the floor. He overturned the whole sack and everything fell on the floor. There was no kli. So you can't prove from here that a house overcomes a sack because there was no sack. He never put the sack on the floor. He put a bunch of wheat on the floor. Ikbad Rava. Rava was very upset at him. I come and bring you a beautiful raya, and you're going to start making a tchak in the pshat. It doesn't say anything about spilling out the wheat anywhere. And you're making up a new pshat just to destroy my raya. That's not nice. Ikbad Rava. Where does it say the word spilled it out? Pirkun. He unloaded it. Unloaded means as is. He took it off his shoulder and put it on the floor. Rashi. This might be a better pshat, he says. It's the same idea. What? Right. There's no raya from here because you don't know that a house is stronger than a kli because perhaps there's no kli. Right. And he's saying, okay. And he's saying, the next pshat is, maybe it's talking about garlic. It could also be talking about garlic. Who told you it was on its back? Garlic, as you see in this truck over here, you don't put it in a sack. For whatever reason, it goes as is. So it never even started with a kli. You're right, if it started in a sack, and to say that he spilled out the sack, that's a little bit of a doichak. No, we never started out with the sack. We're not even talking about a story of a sack. Who told you what we're talking about? Maybe we're talking about a type of like a watermelon. Watermelons don't come in sacks. They're individual. Garlics don't come in a sack for whatever reason. And Memelo, we're not even talking about a case of a kli. So you have no raya that a house is stronger than a kli. So now, just to explain, we already explained it when we started off the whole sugya with the esrogim. The second case, the last line on Amud Beis, ubei modad actually pasak. He measured it out, but they never agreed on a price. They both could take it back. Why? There's no Gemir's das. The Rishbam explains over there. So over here, this is where the Gemara says it. But the pirkung. Now the question is, if a guy unloads your stuff into your house, why can't he acquire it? It's in his house. He unloaded it in your house. Oh, mali pasak, mali loy pasak. Who cares if they determine the price or not? I'll tell you why. Pasak, if you determine a price, he agrees to it in his head, and therefore it's a sale. Loy pasak, but we're talking about a case where there's no price. So what if the produce is in my house? I don't know what it is. I don't know how much I'm going to pay for it. If I don't know how much I'm going to pay for it, I'm not going to be goymer das. I don't want to make the sale. Loy samchadaite. Listen to this shaila. Noam, what do you say about this? Only Noam can answer. Another shaila in Esrogim. A guy comes into the store. This is a ma'aseh shebachol yom in Esrogim. Guy comes in the store. He says, "I want the nicest esrog." So you show him esrog that costs $100. He looks at it. He says, "Nothing." You show him esrog that costs $200. Looks at it.
He's buying the cost.
So then you take the first esrog, you pull it out again. You give it back and says, "This is $600." He looks at it. He says, "Oh, now we're talking." Now we're talking. Mutter to do 100% that happens all the time. Not in your store, it doesn't happen. Is it a no? I'm asking, is it a no or not a no? A second ago you gave him that esrog for 100, now you charge you 600, he's asking to take it. So believe it or not, they say, your son, I asked your son who was on Zoom yesterday, we hooked him in during the shiur, and he said it's mutter, and the Olam agreed with him, and that's the halacha seems like it's mutter. Because the person is looking to spend that money, you told him, and there's no price. Okay, whatever. It's just an interesting shayla. Zog the Gemara. It's very,
Sounds very
happens all the time.
Don't even need to swear for this.
Say, show me the nicest one. They don't even look at it. I just want to see your most expensive. They want to spend money. They don't.
Well, that's what they do with brand names and stuff like that. They don't care about quality. They just give me the. If it costs a lot of money, I'm taking it. It doesn't cost a lot of money, it means it's not good. Yeah, Ravina Ravashi, the two who wrote the Gemara. Toshma, the Rav Shmuel Damar Tavayu. We had this yesterday. Both Rav and Shmuel agree. Kelev Shalodam Koine Lebechol Makom. Oh, over here it's Kel Yoy Shalodam Koine Lebechol Makom. By the way, as Mavar the story, there's a book that says Mefurish that it happened in Haifa. They're wrong. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you it's in a book.
Who stole my story? Put it in Haifa.
The guy that wrote the book also wrote the story.
Where did you get it from? Which book did you see it?
I can't say it in this year. I can't say it in this year. I'll tell you after this year. It was said, your kli, right? It was on Amud Aleph, Pehei Amud Aleph, the top. It says beforish that your kli, your vessel, acquires things everywhere. What does it mean everywhere? Isn't that to answer our question? Even in the seller's house. Says Gemara, zilkni. No. So look what the Hebrew editor did. I love when he does this. I said, let's look in Rashbam. So he pops it out like that. It's very nice, and I'll read it for you if anybody wants. In the Rashbam, 3 lines down. I want, when the seller tells the buyer, I want your suitcase to acquire, says the Rashbam, beautiful. The command it's literally as if he's lending him his house. It's different. That's why the suitcase works. Not because it typically works, because in this case it's as if he said, you acquire the balatot, how do you say balatot? The tiles underneath the suitcase. Not awesome. Rabbi said, what's the chasim sheyesh lo machrayis? Real estate. How do you acquire real estate with money? Shtar. And chazaka, what's chazaka again for the 100th time? Noal, godar, paratz. V'shein lo machrayis. And non-real estate objects, movable items, a nickname elo b'meshicha. So we're going to have a beautiful sugi here about meshicha. How do you acquire a bike? You got to pull it. That doesn't mean only pulling, but even pulling. What's better than pulling? Hagbah, lifting it up. Besura Masala Shmaitz and Surah, they said this thing, Mishmei Rav Chizda, in the name of Rav Chizda. But from this Masala, and from this they learned it, Mishmei Rav Kahana, it's in the name of Rav Kahana. Amrilan, some say Mishmei Rav in the name of Rabbi. What could you acquire by pulling? This is very important for the sugya. What could you acquire with pulling? Something that you cannot lift up. What can't you lift up? An elephant. A 2,000-pound cow. So you can't lift it up. What do? You pull. But this computer, this thing, if you could lift it up. Says the Gemara, unbelievable yahrzeit. Meshicha doesn't work on an esrig. The only thing that works on an esrig is Agbah. It's too light to do Meshicha. Yosef, Rabbi was saying this over in Yeshiva. So wanted to tell me the master. Unbelievable sugya here. So check this out, beautiful. We know the concept called Kamle b'derabimine. Kamle, depending, I can't say a word here without getting this, but it's written, it's Kriyim Ksiv. It's written Kam, it's pronounced Kim. He's right. I usually say Kim. I said Kam for those who say Kam. Bekitzer, Kimle b'derabimine. So it means that if a person, let's say, does kill somebody with a gun, he shoots somebody, so he's chayiv misa for shooting him, but he also tore the guy's shirt with the bullet, but since it happened simultaneously, and we're going to give him the death penalty, so he's potter for the shirt. You could only give the guy one punishment, one einish. You give him the larger one, the larger of the two, the worst of the two. So if a guy steals on Shabbos, he steals something on Shabbos, which happens simultaneously, the issur of Shabbos and stealing. How? By him removing an object from somebody's house into the Rishus Harabim. Let's call it a simta. It's easier. The Gemara explains it's a simta, which is a Rishus Harabim, but you could do a kinyan in a simta. You can't do a kinyan in a Rishus Harabim. We're not going to go there. Person takes an item out of somebody's private property, removes it from the window. The moment he removes it from the window, he did two things. He stole it, and he also was over on Isser Shabbos of Eitzah. So since he's chayiv misa on the Eitzah, he's potter to pay for the stolen object. We have a video. They're reading Suda Shabbos over there, if you didn't notice. Oh. So in that case, this case, he would be chayiv for both. Why? Because look, when he does this, he just did Hagbah. So he's chayiv on Gneva. So Gneva happened. That happened.
Oh, he's still in his Rishos.
So what? Hagbah works everywhere. Hagbah works even in your Rishos. Yeah. And the Isser Shabbos is when he jumped out the window. Where does it not work? Oh, here, I didn't. It comes out. He does.
It's just Shabbos happens when he landed.
Right. How come?
Okay, but the Gneva happened before. Yeah, fine. So, here's another case. Let me show you this. Yoshi did this one. When I'm dragging something out of a house, I'm stealing. So over here, the Isser Shabbos and the Isser Gneva happen simultaneously. So here, those are the two cases. Says the Gemara, Hagoyniv Kizbu Shabbos, you steal a wallet on Shabbos. Shikvar Nischai. By the way, I heard terrible stories in certain yeshivas in different places. I'm sure it happens in all. There are people that on Yom Kippur or on Shabbos, they'll go into the dormitory when everybody's in the middle of Ne'ilah or whatever, and they'll steal stuff. I'm warning the Olam, be careful where you go and how you do it. There are bad people everywhere, and we have Ganovim even within our communities, and people should be careful. They love Shabbos. Shabbos is a thing for them. You know what I'm talking about. It happens in seminaries, it happens in yeshivas, it happens everywhere. And Megarbi Yotze. Potter. Megarbi Yotze is the second case I just showed. This one of Megarbi, what?
We bought safes for the girls.
Really? Okay. Obviously, if you bought those safes, it's been an issue in the past, and unfortunately, that's how it is. There's always, in every society, every 100 people, there's a certain percentage that's going to do that. In this case, he potter. When he dragged it out, he was only over on the Gneva once he removed it from the house, because Mashiach doesn't work in somebody's house. It works in the street, as you pull it into your rishus, into your domain, into the simta, and that's Gneva. And Shabbos also, you have to move from one domain to the other to be over on Shabbos. Barei Kis asked the Gemara a bomb question. When he dragged something out, a pouch of money, how heavy is that? Since it's not heavy, it's like an esrig. What works on an esrig? Only Hagbah, not Mashiach. This is a case of Mashiach. Shalom Aleichem, guest in the back over there. How you doing? Very kiss the bar Hagbah, vafilochi kani b'Mashiach. Amalei b'misna. We're talking about it has straps, like in this picture. Straps. So he says, I don't know b'misna kamina. What do you gain? So what? Yeah, with the straps. But so what if it has straps? A lot of things have straps. Amalei b'midi the boy misna. It's something very heavy, like this, and you need straps. I have this pet peeve, I have this thing. No, like, here's a great, I used this back in the day when I didn't have Yoshi. This is too heavy for this kid. Yoshi made fun of me. He took my tzitzis that I put on this thing. Okay. But Rabbi say, if you ever travel, Avi knows what I'm talking about. People that travel, I know you guys, you know what I'm talking about. Today, there's something called wheels. Yeah? Your carry-on has wheels. So why in the world do you have this guy? You always have this guy with a massive, what is it called? Louis Vuitton, a massive Louis Vuitton bag. He's schlepping, sweating. But the ikar is, the oilam sees he has Louis Vuitton. Why don't you have wheels? It's a pasnish. No, I'm not going to put wheels. The oilam has to know I have Louis Vuitton. It's 400 pounds. You know this guy? Look at him. He has the watch, this. So I said this in Shiur yesterday, so Kobe put it together with AI. I said, this is the guy. This is the guy. Usually it's not guys, usually it's okay. There are people that are not practical. It's just about how other people think about me. You're schlepping in an airport, Meshugana, there's wheels. No. I got my Louis Vuitton. Okay. Just thought I'll let it out here. I had to let it. It bothers me every time I travel. I can't yell at the guy in the airport. I might as well say it over here. Zog the Gemara. When it's in the seller's domain, I'll just remind the Olam because we did have this here. Remember yesterday this case? In the seller's domain, how are you kaina? It says Mefush the Gemara, he has to lift it up. But it also says, the next word is Take it out. So taking it out means to drag it out, no? What are you telling me? That something that's light, only Hagba works in it? Over here it seems like even Mashiach works in it. Or it's actually telling us two separate cases. Something light like Esther, you lift it up. An elephant, b'Mashiach. Daf Amud Beis, sponsored by Yaakov Citron Films, and Lili Nishmas, the 6 murdered captives. Toshma, we had in our Mishnah. You sell fruit to your friend, Moshach, and he did a Mashiach. What's the Gemara's question going to be? Well, how do you do Mashiach on fruit? Fruit is something light. So what's the answer, Rabbi Isai, if you had to think about an answer? It's a massive amount of fruit. You can lift a pri. Have a picture. Something like this. It's massive. Or you never seen one of those? Or this. It's one of these tremendous boxes. I don't know. He can't do Akbar. He can't do Akbar. He's gonna have to drag it. I like this one better. Rabbi, so you ever saw a guy do Akbar like this? This is amazing. I thought this guy's a sugar. Another nutcase. Worse than the Tumi guy here. He's doing Akbar, Rabbi. So. That's one type of Akbar. Okay. So you're telling me it's a very large package. A person who buys flags from his friend and said in our Mishnah, he has to do Akbar. We explained it over there in the Mishnah. Over there, the Rashbam explained it over here. Also, it goes into a whole lengthy thing that he proves that it has to be smaller packages. Why can't it be talking about a very, very large bundle of flags, which is difficult to lift up, and you would have to pull it? Says you don't tie a bunch of flags together because it's just going to pop out. It's not something that it's done. The way they make it, the way they transport it is very small amounts, because the larger amounts, just the bundles, they go everywhere. They pop out, and it's not kedai. We already did the whole full-fledged thing, and we also showed the video before, so we're not going to show it again. That a behemoth, a small animal like a goat, you lift up. A behemoth, a larger animal, you give over the reins, and that's how you are kaina, because you can't lift it up. This is problematic for us. Over here it says a small animal, which you could lift up, you could also be kaina with a mashicha. Isn't that a contradiction to what we said, that something that's light only hagba? Says Gemara, Shani behema this sarcha. Two pshatim in the Rashbam. A behema either digs itself in, like maybe, where's that video? Okay, or it means, I don't know where that video. Oh, here, sarcha. This is a good sarcha. He's trying to lift up this animal, it's a gate nisht, and then he plays dead. That's a shtig. Oh. Or sarcha means, I like the second shot in the Rashbam, sarcha means it'll scratch you. You don't want to lift up an animal, go crazy, it scratches you. Rav Shmuel Damar Tavayu, kur b'shloishim ani moichel lach. Don't get nervous. I know in yeshiva this used to get us all bent out of shape. You say kur means 30 sa. Now we're going to the math. No. Kur is 30. Just remember, kur is 30. And how much am I selling it to you for? 30 sela. In other words, simple math, each pound is 1 sela. I'm selling you 30 pounds for 30 sela, a pound per sela. So let's jump into the Rashbam here. So Kobe already showed us this Rashbam, blew it up. It's like, I don't know, 8 lines from where it gets wide. I'll just read it from here. It's just 1 line. Says the Rashbam, what's going on here? A person needs a certain amount of money, so he's selling a certain amount of pounds. He's not selling him a pile. Here, just take this pile. I need to pay my rent, and I'm missing $30. I'm selling you 30 pounds for $30. Not a pound less, not a pound more. If you give me 29, I can't pay my rent. I don't want $31. I need $30 now, right now, today. So Mamela, if we're going to count up 29 pounds, he could take it back at any time. But it's only because exactly. Okay, now we go weiter. Even at the 29th one. However, if he says kur b'shloishim sub b'sela, and he explains that each pound is going to be $1, sub b'sela, then each pound, as it goes into the scale, each pound becomes the buyer's rishon kana. Toshma, we learned in the Brisa, im hoysam midah shalecha mehem, if the measuring cup was one of theirs, rishon kana. So it depends if it's the buyer's or the seller's cup. So if it's the buyer's cup, every ounce that goes in, it becomes his. As the Gemara of Avigal, we're talking about even, let's say, a whole kur. But as it goes in, it becomes his. You can't take it back all the way to the last amount. Why is it that as it comes in, every small amount is his? And a second ago we said that you can take it back at the end. Says the Gemara, it's the same idea. Hin is 12. So 12 for 12. I'm giving you 12 liters for 12 sela. Look, and he explains, I'm selling you each liter, each lug for 1. Over there in Kachim, we're talking about a typical, what do you call those? The measuring cups. Measuring cup has lines in it. So in Mela, each line is another price, another kinyan. If they're individual kinyanim. So as soon as I get to line number 1, measurement number 1, what does it go? I don't know how it goes in measuring cups. A quarter cup. As soon as I get the quarter cup, bam, there's a sale. And it becomes the buyer's. It comes to half a cup, boom, another sale. If it goes to less than a quarter cup, there is no sale. I have to get to that notch, to that line. That's what it says there. Rabbi, have a wonderful day.